Joy, one of the smallest and most important words in the English dictionary. At least according to my teachers, that is so. You might ask yourself, when did the joy and the dancing go out of your life? When did the music stop for you? You see kids all around the world. Doesn't matter the culture, the tradition, doesn't matter which part of the world that they're from. They exude naturally happiness. When I was in Africa 35 years ago, they had nothing, but they had everything. They had joy. And so life was easy and simple then. And it can be true for us too. We can all remember a time when we were joyous. In fact, that's the first strategy to help you bring back the life that you were meant to be living. It's quite simple. My name is Michael Talbot-Kelly, and I'm going to help you with this today for a few minutes. And the first strategy then we said was going to be, is to track joy. Is to think about, where is the joy in your life? And what you might do is just do a simple graph of your life. Let's say you're 37.1 years of age, and there has been some ups and downs in your life. If you look at all these sparkly moments, you can see, if you add them all up, there are some things that you can see from looking at that graph that were going on in each of these areas that were the same. It might have been that you had a great crew around you. You might have been involved in sports. You might have had an intimate relationship. You might have had a really good self-care practice. You might have had something that was meaningful and purposeful that you were doing. All of them can bring you a lot of joy. So the first thing is to start tracking. Where was the joy in your life? Where has it been? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. This is all there for you. You know where it is. Everybody knows where it is. Of course the joy is here. And doing activities. I have tremendous amount of joy playing hockey, and I have a tremendous amount of joy meditating. I have a tremendous amount of joy being with my kids. I have a tremendous amount of joy doing videos. So there you go. You can follow that. That's an easy thing to do. The second thing you can do is to create a vision board or a collage of where the joy is in your life. And the joy usually can be, if joy was at the center, and the way I was taught is that there's three areas of your life. There's relationships, all relationships. There's your work area, or if you're like myself, you're doing what you love to do, you have meaning and prosperity. And then, of course, at the bottom is self-care. And self-care consists of body, mind, and soul. Think body, things that you love to do, yoga, playing squash, going for walks in nature. Mind, things that turn you on, the history of music, the challenges in the Crimean War, the latest quantum physics theory. Soul is music, things that bring you joy, music, art, meditation, being engaged in something larger than yourself, a noble project. So if you made a vision of all those, if you created a collage or a vision board for that and really had joy at the center of it, what would the relationships look like? What would the work look like? What would self-care look like in all those areas? And that's the second thing you can do, is quite simple, is to create that and then ask the way to the spring. Some people think, well, I have to know how to get there. Well, you know the activities, and you know that you'll get a certain amount of vitality and a certain amount of intimacy and a certain amount of meaningful prosperity if you're doing something that you love, purposeful prosperity, where you're sharing your gifts and creating a job out of that. You know that will bring you joy. So the idea today in every day is to wonder, I wonder where the joy is in these areas of my life. I wonder if I was living this joy, what that would bring to me. And so the wonder opens up the left brain and the right brain to start working together. It also mobilizes the unconscious. The new research shows that that's true. It's very exciting to understand that what the ancients were talking about in their once upon a time stories and in their wondering imaginations and all their various myths and fables that they were talking about, is really start to mobilize that corpus callosum, the deeper imagination that we have inside of us, that can actually start to bring this to life pretty quick. The other thing, and the last thing, well, the last thing, there's many things you can do, but the last thing that you might consider now is start looking at some of the bottom challenges of your life. The way I was taught is that all your symptoms that come as a result of this can be mapped out quite simply, but all these symptoms can be are about bringing you back into your joy, bringing you back into the life that you're meant to be living. So they're purpose-driven. And here's how it works. So there's 3 stages, basically 3 stages of any kind of, in my world, in the world that was been articulated by Joseph Campbell, who studied 23 different cultures around the world. There's this same cycle that people go through when they go through their ordeals. They have their challenges. They've had their betrayals, their abandonments, their fears. They've very real had separations, oppressions, and violations, and all of those separate us. The word is separate us from the familiar, and that's what goes on. So now all of a sudden we're no longer in the marriage. We no longer have a healthy body. We've got cancer looking at us down the pipe. You know, we have some challenges at work. It's now shifted. You know, we're looking at bankruptcy. And then you get into the ordeal. And the ordeal actually is an effort to try to resolve the separate feelings. So even though some of us have ended up having to have been dealing with drugs and alcohol or any kind of addiction, an obsessive thinking, a certain pattern in a relationship, a certain behavior that you can't let go of, it ends up that we end up going round and round in this cycle. We end up going into this ordeal over and over and over again. And the whole idea is for us to get good eldership around this ordeal, some support, so we can come back down into this life we are supposed to be living. A full life of joy, of intimacy, of passion, of the life you were meant to be living. You basically stand up, you start to live that larger life. Now, it doesn't matter whether you are from Borneo or you are from Haida Gwaii or you are from Africa. This is true all around the world. We get into these struggles. This is the work that we do at Meaningful Life Design. Help people get the proper eldership that they can now come down the other side of that ordeal and come home into a place of peace, of joy, of ease. They're now relaxed into who they really are. It's very authentic. It's very genuine. It's very loving. And people, and then of course more joy bubbles up, more of the heart shows up, and people love to be with you. When that love comes to the surface, people love to be, they're like attracted to you. But when you're in the ordeal, not so much. Not so much. It's a bit of an addiction. It's a bit of a compulsion. It goes round and round and round. We find ourselves in same old, as Einstein said, or Churchill said, just one damn thing after another. And that's what a life looks like until we're 65. Yeah, not so much. So the idea is to come out of this ordeal and come down into this full life. If this makes any sense to you, please, you can easily track joy in your life, a simple graph. You can easily do a vision for these 3 areas, your relationships, your career, the mind, body, and soul. Those are areas that each of us have in our life that can be articulated and focused on. And the last part is to get out of the pattern, the symptoms. The symptoms are purpose-driven to bring you into the life that you were supposed to be living. You were supposed to leave home on some level. You were supposed to go through these ordeals. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't fun. But it is, in the end, with proper counsel, proper eldership, it does bring you down into the land of what you were, of the world that you were supposed to be living in. I hope this is helpful. If there's any questions, do not hesitate. My name is Michael. I'm at Meaningful Life Design. My number is 604-317-1613, or call me or email me, Michael at Meaningful Life Design. Glad you could join me. I hope this has been useful. Bye for now.